Hi everyone, and welcome to Honest Stampage's Celebration and Giveaway Hop. A group of us crafters have gotten together to help Min celebrate the growth of her YouTube channel as well as her YouTube channel anniversary. And we have some amazing prizes and projects to share with you, so be sure to visit all the stops along the way. At the top of the description box, you're going to find a link to the next person in the lineup, and I hope you visit all of us. And remember, we always love your comments and your thumbs up. And if you're not already a subscriber, we'd love that too. And be sure to click the little bell next to the subscription box so that you don't miss out on any of the upcoming videos or giveaways. You can also use hashtag HonestStampage2020 to find all of the videos in this hop in order to maximize your chances of winning one of our grand prizes. Also, some of us might be offering prizes on our channels, so be sure to pay attention to details along the way. At the end of this hop, the grand prize winners will be drawn from all of those that watched and commented on all of the hop videos. The grand prize drawings are open internationally, so please check out my description box below for all the details. So now let's get started on my project, which is going to be a pumpkin themed card. And I used my Cricut to cut out the pumpkins, but I left the pumpkins white because I'm going to be coloring them with my Spectrum Noir markers. I thought that would look better than just cutting them out in plain orange. And I'm really happy with the way they turned out. And then the next thing I did was I heat embossed them with a clear embossing powder. I set those aside, and next I used this die that you have seen me use before from In Love Arts, and I thought it would be perfect for my card, but I needed to cut out the girl on the swing and the girl pushing her because that was not going to fit in with what I was doing, and this is what I ended up with to use. Next, I needed to create my background scene, and so I cut out a circle the size that I wanted for the moon, and I used pixie spray to attach that to the cardstock I was using for my background, and I used my distress inks to create the night sky around the moon, and I think it came out okay. Then I removed that piece of paper and started inking the moon because I wanted to make it look like a harvest moon. And you know what? I think that came out okay too. Next, I got out my card base, which is 5 1/4 inches by 5 1/4 inches, and it was time to start putting things together. I used a spray adhesive to adhere the die cut just to make sure that there was full coverage on all those little details. Okay, now here is where things get a little interesting, because I could take those pumpkins and glue them on, maybe use some pop dots, and I would have a beautiful card. But here's where things get interesting. I have it in my head that I want to use Pear Blossom Press Easy Lights to light up those pumpkins. So I've already got one out, and I have to be able to put this behind something as well as have a place for the wires and then get the lights where I want them. I think I got in over my head on this one, don't you think? But guess what? We're going to give it a try. So what I have done, and now I'm going to move all these pumpkins off from here. What I've done is cut a strip of that same gorgeous black glitter cardstock from Close to My Heart and cut it the right size to go across the bottom of the card, just like that. And I am going to glue the pumpkins to this, and there's enough room behind it to put that little battery pack and the wires, but I'm just going to have to get creative to make the light come through the pumpkin. I'm going to have it come through about where its nose is. I figured that was a good place for it. So, wish me luck. So as you can see, the jack-o'-lanterns have a front and a back, and the pumpkins already have the backs put on them. So what I want to do is leave a little space between the back of the pumpkin and the front where the light's gonna, be coming through. And in order to do that, I'm going to have to get creative with some foam dots. So I am not going to bore you while you watch me cut a bunch of tiny little pieces and strategically put them on the backs. So I'm going to go do that, and I'll be back. Okay, so I've got that done. Let me see. Yep, you can see right in there I've got a little bit of foam tape, popping it up a little bit. And as you saw, it was black. And that is because I used Gina K Designs black foam tape. And I just love this because, you know, usually we're using white. But there are times when black, like this, would be much better. So now what I'm going to do is decide on my positioning on here and get all of these little pieces glued on there. And since that may take me a minute to decide exactly how I want it, I'm going to do this off camera, and I'll be right back. Okay, I have all of the pumpkins glued to that strip just the way I wanted them, and it's going to go on the front of the card just like that, but not yet. First, I'm going to take my little pokey tool here, and I'm going to poke a hole through each nose all the way to the back, okay? And then I am going to take this little battery pack for the lights and decide where I want it, because it has to be somewhere where I'm going to put a push here. So I think it's going to be right behind this pumpkin or right behind that one, but probably this one. And once I get that on there, I'm going to get all the wires situated where no one can see them, and I'm going to push the lights through each of these noses. So I'm going to go do that, and I'll be back and I'll show you what I did. Okay, so what I've done so far is I decided where I wanted the little battery pack. I've got the battery in it, and I have it so that when you push on this pumpkin, it lights up. And then I took one of the lights. This is what they look like. And let me see if I can get it to come on. Cute little lights. And I took one and I poked it through right here, through that hole to the nose, and use some double-sided tape and then just kind of wrap the wire around gently, and I'm holding that down. And now for the next one, it's the same thing. I've put it through the hole that I poked in that pumpkin so that it comes out the front, and I don't want it to stick out like Pinocchio, so we're going to be careful. And then I'm going to tape that down right there, and let me push the button again here so you can see. Hold on a second here. I don't want to pull it out. So there you go, it lights up. And I'm going to do the same thing to the third one. Okay, and here it is complete. And I'm going to put a little bit more tape right there, but I just wanted to show you that all the double-sided tape that I used, I would peel off that layer, leaving the sticky, to put the wires down on. So that helped hold them in place. And now I'm just going to add one more piece across there to hold everything in place. Okay, so I have that piece of double-sided tape going right across the wires, holding them in place, and I'll remove the backing off from that when I go to put it on the card. And I'll put a little push me right here on that pumpkin, and when the recipient pushes it, the little pumpkins light up, like on Halloween when you have a candle or something inside your jack-o'-lantern. So before I put this on the card though, you'll notice that the battery pack doesn't lay flat. And so I'm going to have to put some double-sided foam tape. I'm going to use the same black foam tape that I used earlier, and I'm going to put some of that on here, and then we're going to put that on the card. It took 2 layers of that foam tape to get it high enough, because that foam tape is a little thin, but I will tell you something about it. It is probably the stickiest foam tape I've ever used, and that is a good thing, because you want something that's really going to stick. And actually, I may add a little wet glue to this, my Beacon 3-in-1. Not because this foam tape isn't sticky enough, because it is seriously sticky, but because this is textured, and so you really want the glue to sink down into the texture. So I am going to add just a strip of wet glue, my Beacon 3-in-1, right along the center of each of those,
just to make sure that it sticks good. And you know what? Stringy! I am actually going to put a little on this as well, just to make sure it holds everything in place. All right, so we are ready to put it on the card. Let me bring that over here. I'm going to have to make sure I have everything lined up, which is also another reason for using some wet glue, because it gives you just, you know, a little wiggle room. Or at least my beacon does. I absolutely love it. So, get it all on here good. Making sure everything is in its place, and it sure looks like it is. And woohoo! There we go. Let me get my little press here button for on there, and it'll be finished. So here's the finished card, and it is actually a birthday card for my sister-in-law, whose birthday happens to be on Halloween, and she loves Halloween-themed cards. So instead of saying happy birthday, it says happy boo day. And this is just perfect for her. She's going to love it. And you'll notice down here I have a little tab that says pull and remove. I have that in there because with that in there, the battery is not making contact with the switch, and so it's not wearing the battery down during mailing. But when she gets it, she can pull and remove, and then she can push, and it will light up beautifully. So to make this little tab, I made it, let me see here, it's about a 1/2 inch by about 1.5 inches. So sorry about that. So about 1.5 inches by about a 1/2 inch. And you just want to make it so that it will fit. See if I can show you. You want to fit it right in here between the battery and the connectors for the battery. So right in there, just like that. And then there's no connection.
Thank you all for hopping along with us and helping Min celebrate her YouTube channel on a stamp page. And don't forget, the link to the next person in the lineup is at the top of the description box. And you can also click on hashtag on a stamp page 2020 to find all of our videos in one place so that you have more opportunities to qualify for the giveaways. Happy crafting, everyone. Bye-bye.